Oh, hey guys, welcome to Digit.in, and as you can see, I am looking at the OnePlus 6 and the OnePlus 6T, and even though this is the Thunder Purple edition which was recently announced, we have been using the OnePlus 6T ever since its launch, and I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of reviews out there, so I'm going to get to the verdict really quick. If you are looking for an all-round smartphone, a device that can get you through the day with battery life, has pretty good performance and has a camera that can click nice pictures, then yes, you can absolutely consider the OnePlus 6T. However, if you are someone that is looking for a flagship device and doesn't want to spend, let's say, more than 20,000 rupees, then you have a device like the Poco F1 that brings the Snapdragon 845. For flagship devices, you will have to consider something like the Pixel 3 family of devices or the new iPhones. Having said that, the OnePlus 6T is catering to those that are looking for an all-round device. I mean, it doesn't even have a 64GB variant now, it's all 128GB and up, even 6GB RAM and up. So yeah, this is catering to those that want a lot of storage on their device, they want a good display, they want a good camera. And if you are someone that has a OnePlus 6, then this may not be the device for you, as you may want to wait another 6 months to get the OnePlus 7. But if you are someone that's coming from a previous generation phone or a lower spec Android smartphone, then you can absolutely consider it. And if you want to know why, we are going to run you through some detailed tests that we have done. We have run a number of benchmarks, we've put the battery to the test, we've put the camera to the test. Essentially, let's just say we've run it through a science lab to tell you exactly how good this phone is, and we're going to tell you all that in just a minute. At the heart of the OnePlus 6T is a Snapdragon 845 processor coupled with 8GB of RAM and of course a 3700 mAh battery. When speaking of the performance, let's get into slightly geeky territory out here, which is with benchmarks. Now, we ran a lot of benchmarks on the smartphone. We ran the likes of Antutu, we ran 3D Mark, we ran PC Mark for the battery, we ran GFX Bench, Geekbench, you name it, we probably ran it. Now, as you can see from the scores in front of you, the OnePlus 6T is no slouch. It can take on the best in this category and beat them by far. In some benchmarks, as you can see, it is probably only beaten by devices like the iPhone. And of course, that's acceptable since Apple's A12 Bionic chipset is the most powerful chipset out there, closely followed by the Snapdragon 845. But it is the way OnePlus has optimized its software, as you can see with these scores, to make the most of the device when it comes to real-world capabilities. Now, of course, benchmarks is more of a let me put this in the lab and see how well it performs before throwing it into the real world. Moving on to real-world performance, we can tell you that this device is absolutely no slouch. Open as many apps as you want on the device and you will see that you can switch between them with absolute ease. Even heavy games like PUBG, thanks to a little bit of impressive modes in this phone, can be stored in the RAM. So let's say if you have a game like PUBG open and then you switch to, let's say, Facebook or your Chrome browser or messaging, and when you come back to the game, it will launch a lot faster than it would on, let's say, another device. So it does use the memory quite well. Of course, it's got 8GB of RAM out there. Similarly, like I said earlier, with switching between apps, it works brilliantly as well. Now, if you are a mere mortal that's going to use this for things like making calls, texting, a little bit of social networking, Instagramming, WhatsApping, stalking someone online, whatever it is, we're not judging you, you can do that as well. So it's safe to say that when we put it in the lab and we put it through its paces, this phone ran absolutely butter smooth. And when we took it out into the real world, it was as we expected. Well, if like me, you are going to spend some time playing a few games on this device, then know that it is absolutely a brilliant gaming smartphone. We clocked in an average frame rate of about 40, a little more than 40 in games like PUBG, but if you are going to play games like Asphalt 9, for example, you can get the best frame rate possible out there. Fighting games like Injustice load fast and work butter smooth. So it's safe to say that if you are going to have a gaming experience on this smartphone, it's going to be a pleasurable one. Now, if like me, you are someone that likes using a smartphone without a cover, worry not, the phone doesn't get very hot. As you can see from the numbers on your screen right now, the temperature was at an acceptable level and the phone did not overheat or make it uncomfortable to use. And it comes with a bigger battery, which is, instead of a 3300 mAh battery, this has a 3700 mAh battery. We are going to talk about the battery test, of course, in a little bit. However, it does make the phone slightly heavier. Now, when the OnePlus 6 launched, it had a pretty good battery life. It had a 3300 mAh battery that could run you through a day's use with ease. The OnePlus 6T has taken that a step further by giving you a 3700 mAh battery. Now, let's put this into performance, our test-based performance where we ran it on PC Mark and the result was really surprising. It lasted for a mere 10 minutes more than the OnePlus 6 and we were really shocked. So what we did was we decided to use this device as a powerhouse for the entire day. Recently we went for an event, and on that event we went out, we clicked a lot of photos, we did some Facebook lives. We even used this phone as a hotspot to give another phone some internet so we could upload some images, made a few calls, social media, played some PUBG as well, and towards the end of the day, we were left with a little less than 40% battery, and that is absolutely commendable considering the workhorse we put this phone through. Now, of course, you have to realize that apart from the bigger battery, which is 3700 mAh, the brightness was also on auto or set at a level that was comfortable to us and was not at full brightness. One more thing is that with Android 9 Pie, there are a lot of optimizations which are done to the battery. So it's safe to say that if you're someone that's looking for a phone to game on, if you're going to use it as a powerhouse, if it's going to be on all the time throughout the day, and you are going to use it, you are not going to be disappointed with the battery life the OnePlus 6 has to offer. Is it just me, or is the 60 a little heavier? Oh, now actually speaking about the design, well, in previous generations when OnePlus came out with the T iteration of its smartphones, there wasn't much of a design change. However, when you look at the device up front, there is a big change, and that big change is actually a smaller notch. So the OnePlus 6T brings with it, if I can show it to you, a water drop kind of a notch. We have seen it on other smartphones in the past, and it doesn't have the fingerprint sensor at the back, which for some might be great, for some might be a miss. However, it puts the fingerprint sensor inside the display. Now this makes it not the fastest fingerprint sensor out there, and it works kind of 7 out of 10 times. However, the face unlock, which was there on both the smartphones, is actually really fast. So by the time you pick it up and you look at the phone, it's unlocked. So you really don't even need to press your finger on the display. Speaking of the rest of the design, it still has the curved back. It feels really good in your hands. It's glass, and this thunder purple, I think it looks really nice, but it does come in a black variant as well for all you Batman fans out there. Speaking of the display on the smartphone, the size of the OnePlus 6 and the OnePlus 6T remains the same. However, the OnePlus 6T does manage to pack in more pixels simply because it has a smaller notch. Now, I know what you're thinking. You actually love that feature that shows you your download speed when you're downloading an app or streaming a movie. You're still not going to be able to see it because it hides behind the notch. If you want to see it, you are still going to have to swipe down and watch it out here somewhere, which is a bummer according to me. Another thing which kind of annoys me is when you switch on the display, it becomes really bright immediately before adapting itself to the brightness that you've set it, or at auto brightness. So that's something to be wary about. Now, speaking of the brightness of the display, it looks like OnePlus has really done something with the 6T. When it comes to brightness of the display, we recorded a maximum luminance of 675 lux on the OnePlus 6. However, the OnePlus 6T goes a little brighter, clocking in close to the 680s when we tested it with our lux meter. Now, of course, it has its standard slew of modes, be it your reading mode, the adaptive color mode, yada yada yada, a lot of modes that you can probably see on your screen right now, and you can change to them to choose which one you want absolutely accordingly. If you are someone that wants your display on all the time, you are going to be a little disappointed because there is no always on mode for the display of the OnePlus 6T. However, the smartphone is intelligent enough to know when you've actually lifted it up, and it will give you the clock and some of your notifications and the battery level. So that's nice. With an always on display, you could of course lose battery life because even when the display is not on in front of your eyes, it's still on. I think this is a little better, but that's your preference. Now, talking about the camera, the specifications of the camera are exactly the same as the OnePlus 6. The change, however, comes in the kind of photographs you can take. Now, let's take an example of another smartphone. We have the Pixel 3, which launched with the night sight came to the smartphone, and we have an article about that on Digit where you can check out how it improves photography in low light. Well, something similar has been done with the OnePlus 6T. It's called Nightscape. And what this essentially does is helps you click better photographs in low light. To put it simply, it kind of takes a multitude of shots in buffering, so it combines all of them to give you kind of an image which has better brightness, more visibility of details, and it works 7 out of 10 times. Of course, if you are going to compare this to what the Pixel does in low light, we will tell you hold your horses. We will do a comparison of that in the near future. If you want to see that, you can let us know in the comment section below. However, for low light photography, this phone has improved in comparison to its predecessor. Now moving over to the front-facing camera, it has also improved a little bit, making your face a little brighter. Portrait mode is of course something that is there on the OnePlus 60 as well, and put simply, it essentially takes your face and makes you a little fairer. Not as much as what the Oppos and Vivos of this world do, but yeah, that is something that's subjective. You are looking at a couple of image samples right now, and if you think this is something that you like in a smartphone's camera, especially with its portrait mode, you can check it out. We can tell you that the camera is pretty decent for the price that you are paying for it. Low light photography has improved, and it is definitely an improvement when compared to the OnePlus 6. When it comes to sound quality, now if you compare the OnePlus 60 to the likes of the LG G7 Plus, then of course you will be a little disappointed, but on its own it is pretty decent and loud. There are no distortions at high volumes. Now one thing to note is that in games like PUBG, the sound of footsteps and gunfires comes out quite prominently, which is nice. Well, we answered your 37 or 38,000 rupee question at the beginning of the video, whether you should buy this phone or not. However, as we said in the beginning, it is, yes, however, blooper, Hulk. Let's answer your 38,000 rupee question once again. If you've stuck with us throughout this video till now, thank you very much for sticking around, by the way, it really helps us. So yes, if you have a budget of about 40,000 rupees, then you can close your eyes and buy the OnePlus 60. It's a great all-round device. However, LG, for example, offers a more durable design, waterproof, and has MIL standard durability on the G7 Plus ThinQ smartphone. LG also offers an HDR 2K display at the 40,000 rupee price point. So if you want, instead of let's say the 8GB and 256GB variant of the OnePlus 60, the LG G7 Plus is a lot cheaper with the features that it is offering. But like we said, if you are looking for an all-round performing device and performance, especially things like heavy usage and multitasking is something that you want, and fluid overall performance, then yes, you can absolutely consider the OnePlus 60. However, if you have the smartphone, yes, it's however once again right there. If you have the OnePlus 60 and if you faced any problems, if you liked something about it, if we missed something about it that you would like to tell us, we can always have the discussion in the comment section below. You can always write into us at editor@digit.in. You can follow us on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You can pick up the December issue, which is our special 01 awards issue. As far as our videos, we will catch you in another one. It's goodbye for now. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to receive notifications every time we upload a new video.